Hey guys. So I'm excited to share something that a lecture that I watched by Wayne Dyer yesterday, and it was called "Excuses Be Gone," and it was a couple of hours, and it was just phenomenal. I loved it, and I wanted to share something with you, so you don't have to watch the 2 hour lecture if you don't want to. Um, so Wayne Dyer did a survey by people who came to his website, and said, out of all, what is your most common excuse that you use that stops you from taking action on the life you really want to live? And I think there were 9 excuses. That there was something like, I don't have the time, I can't afford it, it will disrupt the family, um, it's going to be difficult, there'll be sacrifice. Those are the common excuses. And he sort of said, what would, who would you be without those excuses? Who would you be without those excuses? How would you feel without those excuses? And it is a very, very interesting question. And I'll give you an example. Yesterday, I saw a client, and this client was just not taking action on what we discussed. And what he was doing is he was kept reverting back to, oh, I had this major eye operation a few years ago, and then COVID happened, and and that's why I am where I am. And I said, well, that's really interesting to me. I said, do you think you're the only person who's had a medical procedure in the last 5 years? And he said, no. And I said, oh, that's interesting. So other people who've had serious medical procedures, have they continued to live and achieve their goals? And he said, yes. And I said, well, what makes you think that your medical procedure was so special that you couldn't take action? And he sort of stopped. And I said, now, is there anyone in this world, on this planet, that did not experience COVID? He said, no. I said, then how is it that other people who have experienced COVID and had gone, whose industry had been impacted, how is it that they are thriving, but you're not? I said, is there something in particular that happened to you that didn't happen to them that has not allowed you to move forward? And he said, no. And he kept reverting to those excuses, right? To justify not taking the action to create the life that he wanted. But the reason he wasn't creating the life that he wanted, because he had these other excuses, like it's going to be difficult, it's going to be embarrassing, it's going to get involve sacrifice, I don't have the money for it. There's opportunities in Australia. So he had created this whole big mountain of a story in front of him, and he had created his own obstacle, and he wasn't able to get over his own obstacle. And irrespective of the map and the roadmap we had given him, he wasn't ready to let go of his excuses, and he was holding himself back. And this is what all of us do. We all hold ourselves back with these excuses. And the question is, who would you be without the excuses? And I tell you, the answer to that is you'd be free. You would be free. Imagine you didn't blame your mother for your emotional state. Imagine you just let that go and said, you know what, I'm owning myself now. I'm owning my emotion now. Who would you be? You'd be free. Imagine you just said to you know what? Oh my God, I am going to get what I want, and it's going to be so easy because Source is going to pave the easiest way for me and the path of least resistance for me, and I'm going to follow that path fully. Imagine you told yourself that instead of saying, oh my God, it's going to be so hard, it's going to be sacrifices, I'm going to lose what I have. Imagine you reframe that and you lived from that space instead of the excuse space. How would you feel? You would feel free. So, my encouragement to you today is to write out all those excuses that you usually use. My favorite one the last few years has been, I don't know what to do. I don't know what to do. I don't know what to do. which is the biggest load of bollocks ever. But I have built that from a pebble into a fucking Mount Everest times 10, right? And so I reframe that to say, Source knows exactly what to do, and Source shows me what to do. I follow the path of least resistance with ease and grace, and I'm retraining my mind to let go of that excuse and to fully embrace the process. So write out all the excuses and then create a new affirmation. So every time you say that excuse, create the positive, the opposite of that. And when you say that excuse, you replace it. You go, hang on, that's not true. How do I know that that's true? How do I not know that this is true? How about I explore this? And you use the positive affirmation. And you literally have to create a vacuum in your brain by getting rid of the old belief and replace it with a new one. And it takes some time, but I tell you it works. And I'll tell you how it works is I was listening to Catherine Ponder's work, and Catherine Ponder, she's on the laws of prosperity. And as I was walking, I was listening to an affirmation that says, every day in every way, I'm growing more and more. What was it? Oh, sorry. I have a large, steady, dependable, permanent financial income now. Every day in every way, I'm growing more and more financially prosperous now. And I was listening to that over and over and over again. And oh my God, and then all of a sudden I woke up in the morning and I'd have that playing in my head. And I was like, wow, that really works. But it is repetition and it is taming the dragon of your brain. But if you really want to let go of those excuses, reframe, reframe, reframe until you know the new affirmation that becomes your new belief system. And you free yourself from those excuses and you free yourself to live the life that you deserve to live. All right? So definitely give that a go and dedicate yourself to this. Because, at the end of the day, no one is here to live your life but you. So let the excuses be gone, as Wayne Dyer says, and practice being who you need to be. All right then, guys. Thank you for listening. Ciao.